Hi, my name is Lacey. I've never done one of these before, but I saw this show on Netflix called The Ultimatum. I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts. Who's ready to dive into episode 2 of The Ultimatum? So episode 2 starts off with another round of dates. So Hunter and Alexis were together, but Alexis decided that she's into Colby. So last episode, she told everybody in a truth or dare round that she was into Colby. Meanwhile, Colby is not into her. And he told her last episode that he didn't see a future with them in marriage. And she got upset. Continuing off of that thread, Alexis comes over to Colby in another dating situation. And behind Alexis, Colby can see his original partner Madeline dating Alexis's original partner Hunter. So it's very, very strange and very, very weird and very at 11 the entire time. Alexis comes up to Colby and she asks him, she says, last time you said you didn't see a future with us, so what brought you to that conclusion? Like what brought you there? And he says, that's a fair question. He considers, and he says, honestly, I'm just not that attracted to you. And yes, that hurts, but he's being honest with her. She asked. He tried sugarcoating it the first time. She didn't take the hint, so she came back. She asked, and he's like, okay, I just gotta say it. And you could tell in his face that he was trying to be nice, and she just wasn't. He didn't want to do it, but he had to rip the Band-Aid off somehow. Okay, that sucks. In Alexis's confessional, she says, one, her and Colby's girlfriend are the most similar looking people in the group, and it's like you have light colored hair and that is the only similarity. Honestly, you do not look the same at all. Two, she says, I'm not unattractive, which is fine, but you just might not be everybody's cup of tea, and it is what it is. Three, she says, so that's a reason to not want to get married. I'm sorry, but physical attraction is a big part of a romantic relationship. So yeah, that's a reason to not want to get married to somebody. I get it. I mean, it sucks. Colby was trying to be honest. So he says, and she's basically like, I have nothing else to say to you. I'm gonna go. And he's like, okay, peace. Bye. Colby goes to get a drink, and Alexis goes over to Hunter, her ex, her original partner, and Madeline, Colby's original partner. Alexis goes up to them and goes up to Madeline essentially and is like, if you have reservations about Colby, it's you should listen to them because it's just lip service and he's an asshole. And I'm thinking, she just thinks he's an asshole because he's not attracted to her and doesn't want to date her. He tried to go about it nicely the first time. She did not take the hint. She came back and asked him again. And in order to make her get the hint, he pulled the Band-Aid off and said he wasn't attracted to her. It is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. She goes up to Colby's ex and to her ex and says this, and it's like, girl, this shows more about you than it does about Colby. So you look insane. He doesn't. That's just my takeaway. But like my mom and dad say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Also, we have Shanique and Zay. Their flirtation talks about deep intimacy and how she likes it deep. He says, you mean intimacy? And she says, yeah, I mean intimacy. She didn't wink. I'm doing that, but you know what I mean. Nate is into Shanique. Nate originally came with Lauren, who doesn't want kids. He does. He likes Shanique because she's driven. She wants kids. She has a timetable. She's on it. Then Nate and April. April is the sweet one who originally came with Jake. They have a date. There's more of Ray and Jake. Ray originally came with Zay and Jake originally came with April, but they're really hitting it off still. That seems solid. There's more of Colby and Lauren, the one who originally came with Nate, who doesn't want kids. And in his little confessional, he says, I'm so glad we got over the kid thing. Ugh. Somebody, I'm so glad I helped her get over the kid thing. And last but not least, we have Madeline and Randall getting cuddly. They've been pretty much hitting it off from the pool date, the first pool date. Ooh, there's another drunk party where they, instead of playing Truth or Dare, they play Never Have I Ever. And of course it gets to Truth or Drink. Nate, who is originally with Lauren, who does not want kids, says, oh, I thought this was just gonna be a bunch of guys who want to F my girlfriend. And that really rubs me the wrong way. So I can tell that it's a bit of an entitlement, a bit of a ownership, dare I say, kind of thing. Zay, in this Truth or Drink circle, Zay asked Jake who his number one is. He drinks, although we all know that his number one is Ray because we've seen it. So Jake drinks, and then Jake asks Randall who his number one is. Randall says, fine, I'm gonna tell you, and he says Madeline, which gets Madeline happy and Colby, Madeline's original partner, a little upset. So while this is happening, Randall's original partner, Shanique, is having a really hard time of it. I mean, which is completely understandable. She's in this circle, hearing that her boyfriend is interested in somebody else sitting there next to her. So yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to watch. It's uncomfortable for them. It's uncomfortable for everything. But I can't look away. It's like a train wreck. I can't stop. And Ray gets asked who her number one pick is, and she says Jake, who drank earlier to not end up saying Ray. So they're tight. Oh God. April asks Colby if he could see a future, if he could see them living together for the next 3 weeks. He thinks about it. He debates with himself, and he says, no, I cannot. And unlike Alexis, who got butthurt about him not being attracted to her or whatever, April is like, okay, cool. She takes a drink and it's like, okay, let's move on. It's like, oh, okay, good to know. Moving on. Toward the end of this Truth or Drink party, Alexis goes over to Hunter, her original partner. And basically she breaks down a little bit, and that's completely understandable. So she basically tells Hunter, like, I don't see myself with anybody but you. I'm having a really difficult time. I don't want to see you dating other people. And he's like, I don't want to see you dating other people either. It was just a short little conversation that they had about their feelings. Nothing really came of it, but they just kind of touched base with each other. Shanique goes over to her original partner, Randall, and they have a sit down as well, saying that she really likes what Nate is saying, but she wishes that it was Randall saying it instead of Nate. So it was like a combination of the two she wishes that they were. And Randall says like he's connecting with somebody. Well, she knows that he's connecting with Madeline. And so it's like this difficult conversation. Meanwhile, April goes over to Hunter, Alexis's original partner, ex, and April is confiding in Hunter, and Hunter says, whenever you need me. It's a little creepy, but it's also kind of nice. But the way it's edited seems kind of creepy. He says, if you ever need me, if you ever need anything, I'll be there. No, but like really, if you need anything, like I'll listen. No, but really, if you need anybody, I will listen. But I don't think it's meant to be creepy. I think he's being genuine and he's being honest, and April takes it as such, and it's a really nice moment, and she feels a little bit better about the situation at the time. So it's time for the choice. Okay, so this means that everybody has dated each other and they have kind of decided who they want to start this trial marriage with. The awkwardness is, again, at 11. All of the 6 couples are at a table. And Nick and Vanessa are back to host the situation. So basically what the idea is, each person is going to stand up and say who they want to couple with for the next 3 weeks. And if there's match, then they go off together. I'm not sure what would happen if there were people who didn't want to get together. So that was something I was excited to see them deal with once they got into the situation. Basically, they talk to everybody, they kind of see where everybody's at, and everybody kind of says, they project a little bit who they're gonna pick. They say, oh, I really had a connection with so-and-so because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, okay, you're gonna pick that person. First, they talk to Nate, and they said, oh, Nate, you have a connection with Shanique. And he says, I mean, look at her, right? Although he does say she's fire and she's determined, so I'll allow it this time, Nate. So Nate doesn't actually pick at this point. They just kind of talk to him a little bit, and then they ask Shanique who she decides to pick. She stands up and she talks about how she had a connection with Nate, and she also had a connection with Zay, and she eventually ends up picking Zay. In Nate's confessional, he's pissed. He basically is like, I thought I had a connection with Shanique. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Not my favorite person. Zay then gets to choose, and he chooses Shanique, and so they're going to form one of their new couples for 3 weeks for a trial marriage. Then Jake gets to pick, and Jake, who is April's original partner, stands up and he says that he has a really big connection with Ray, which shocks nobody because they've been hitting it off this entire time. April is supportive and basically says that she's there to learn and to grow for herself and also for the relationship. Madeline's turn to pick. She picks Randall. Randall picks Madeline. Part of this whole picking each other thing kind of seems to be like, the thread seems to be like, oh, they listen to me. I feel heard with this person. Nate, in his confessional, said that he was going to pick Shanique as his number one. Then he says, okay, maybe it's just me. I'm gonna pick April as my number two, okay? So Nick and Vanessa ask April. April says that she really wants to grow as a person. She wants to grow in the relationship so that she can come back to Jake and have a really strong connection and bond there. They ask her who she wants to pick, and she actually picks Hunter, who was there for her when she was sad last date. I don't know. So April picks Hunter. Nate, who was going to pick April as his number two choice, is pissed again because he's just like, why isn't anybody picking me? I thought I had a connection with them. Oh my God. Now Vanessa Lachey sees that Alexis, who is Hunter's original partner, is upset that April picked Hunter to be in the new trial marriage with. So Vanessa calls on Alexis and is like, hey, Alexis, what's going on with you? Alexis stands up. She gives this whole big monologue about how she gave Hunter an ultimatum because she wants to be with him, not because she wants to see him date other people. If she didn't want to be with him, she would have dumped him, which is all honestly a very understandable. Very understandable. However, you do know what you signed up for, and this TV show was to date other people to see if you are good with your original partner. If you didn't want to date other people or see your other significant other dating other people, you should not have come on the show. My thought is that Alexis is a little butthurt that nobody else likes her. She's saying she doesn't have a connection with anybody. However, she would have lived with Colby if he had said yes. However, he was not into her, so she was butthurt, so therefore nobody can have Hunter, her original, and therefore she doesn't connect with anybody. So a part of this is a little extra dramatic with a side of dramatic. And if I can't have him, no one can. That is the end of episode 2. We are left in a lurch. We're on a dun 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 moment. There's still other couples that need to connect or not. We're not sure what's gonna happen. I really want to see what happens when somebody doesn't connect with another person and what they're gonna do if it's an odd number. The drama.